Joining us today for the Fair Board of Commissioners meeting for Tuesday, September 12th, here at Geodis Park. Before we start, I'm going to read our legal notice for full disclosure as information for our audience. If you are not satisfied with the decision made by the Metropolitan Board of Fair Commissioners today, you may appeal the decision by petitioning for a writ of cert with the Davidson County Chancery or Circuit Court. Your appeal must be filed within 60 days of the date of entry of the board's decision, and to ensure that your appeal is filed in a timely manner and that all procedural requirements have been met. Please be advised that you should contact your own independent legal counsel. My name is Jasper Hendricks, the interim chair, and I call this meeting to order. First order of business is the approval of minutes from the previous meeting. Please take a minute to review the minutes, and the chair will entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. There's no opposition. Next will be public comment period. Just as a reminder to our audience that a couple of board meetings ago, we changed our process to say that our public comment period only includes comments on items that we have on our budget, on our agenda for action items. Seeing today we have no one signed up for public comment period, I just wanted to make sure that everyone saw the form, and if you did get a chance to sign up, that you have the opportunity to do so now.
You had a motion, but we need to vote.
Oh, I think there was no opposition
Okay.
for the pass. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You go for
Okay. All right, seeing the no public comment period, the next order of business will be our financial update.
The financial information presented today is preliminary, and our revenues and expenses for August 2023 may not have been recorded to the ledgers as of September 11th, 2023, when this report was created. The preliminary actuals are as follows. Revenues are approximately $307,000. Expenditures are around $469,000, resulting in a net loss of approximately $161,764. Depreciation expense is zero, so the total net loss is roughly $161,764. Below you will find an itemized list of revenues and expenses. Our top three revenue sources are flea market, corporate sales, and contracts. Flea market revenue is roughly $101,989, which is 33% of our total revenue. Corporate sales events is around $181,000, which represents 59%. Contracts is $11,800, which is 4% of our total revenue. Our top three expenses are payroll, utilities, and purchased services. Payroll expense is approximately $243,854, which represents 52% of our total expenses. Purchase services expense is $55,782, which is 12%. And supplies is $55,042, which is 12%. For the month of September 2023, our revenue projection is approximately $738,885. Our projected expense is around $1 million. We anticipate a loss of $325,250. On our agent report, we have approximately $17,700 in outstanding invoices. All of the promoters have been contacted and invoiced. This concludes our financial report. Are there any questions?
Yes.
Excuse me. On the revenue line item, Thank you so much, Satrice, for that report. On the revenue line, other financing sources, can you remind me what that is? Is that our sort of supplement from the Metro government?
Yes.
Okay. And I see a big giant purple bar for divisional fare for September.
Yes.
So can you give us some idea, or if you want to defer to Laura for her report, that's fine, but about where we are on our revenue goal for the fare? Are we on track? Are we not on track?
I'll defer to Laura.
I've been keeping up with the daily deposits. So we only have 4 days of deposits so far. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and last night. So we set up certain targets, and I'll remind you, it's not a fair comparison exactly to revenues that we generated last year from the fair because the first weekend it rained. So we're doing really, really well compared to a rainy first year, but are we doing well on a nice weekend? I guess that remains to be seen as we get more data. So far for our parking, we are at almost 60% of target after 4 days. So that's doing really, really well. Tickets are a little bit harder to calculate at this point because we have the tickets that were purchased at the gate, but we don't have any internet sales or pre-sales factored into that deposit information yet. So we're sitting at about 22% of target, but that's really not the whole picture.
And is that because I assume we get that when we get the settlement at the end with the vendor that we brought in to manage that ticket sales?
Right. So we've got a contract with e-ticketing, and then we also will have a settlement after the fair with our midway provider because there is a commission type of revenue share with our midway and food and beverage.
Okay. So just last question then, Laura, on that is, so overall you feel like we're in a good position as far as revenue related to the fair?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I have one more question, and then I promise I'll defer. Anthony, I know you're trying to get in it, but apologies. Which is my normal question for Satrice, which is, do you think we're on track overall as far as our budget based on what you've seen in the financials for the last month since our last meeting?
According to what we have projected and given to finance, we are on schedule.
That was going to be my question, Satrice. For flea market and corporate sales event, with 4 months left in the year, will we get close to those budgeted totals?
So 4 months is for the calendar year, so we still have a ways to go for fiscal year.
So I'll wait until June?
Yes,
Okay, so this is a carryover to June?
yes, this is
Okay,
going with.
all right.
Any other questions? Anything else you wanted to share? All right. All right. Thank you. So next we will have an events update to include our campus partners. I guess we'll begin with Director Womack.
Yes, so in your packets, you'll see I actually put 4 months on here, just to kind of give you a little bit broader picture of what we've got. Certainly September is dominated by the fair, but we do have some other things like flea market and a couple events towards the end of September. We do have a full calendar. December is actually coming along. Generally, December toward the end of the year, it's been kind of light, but we're getting some more looks. You know, it's always hard to book things around the holidays because so many people travel. So it's encouraging to see our weekends, other than Christmas weekend, filling up. From a future look, we're almost fully booked for 2024, and we're about 75% booked for 2025. So it's really amazing. Our staff is doing really good things. Our new event services manager, I asked him before I came up, I said, is there anything I can share? And he's like, just share that we're working on bringing in some new things. I guess it remains to be seen what those new things are. I think he did that on purpose. So he's working on some new events. And I will say that we're getting a lot of referrals from, other entities in Nashville, including NCVC, which has been really helpful, looking at kind of some bigger full venue events, which is exciting. So more to come on that, but certainly check our schedule. From a fair perspective, the fair is awesome. We're very, very tired, but it is really fun. I've had the pleasure with Christy. We've been working the milk bar, which is super fun. It's called Sally and June Milk Bar. And it's just a really good opportunity to engage with the people who are coming with their kids and, just walking through and enjoying and finding out where they're from and what their favorite things are at the fair. It's just a really good time for interaction with our guests. So if you have not been down there, make sure you stop by Sally and June Milk Bar, and you can choose between chocolate and white milk. I prefer chocolate. It's really good. But tonight, so during the week, we've really worked hard at trying to come up with weekday events that will bring our neighbors in and the surrounding community. So tonight we have a murder mystery dinner theater. And we also have the band Resurrection. It's a Journey tribute band, and they are amazing. So I know a lot of us are going to be hanging around tonight to watch that. Tomorrow, we have our first Brew Fest that is associated with the fair. So with the price of admission, you can come in, of course, if you're 21 or older, and you come into the courtyard, and we've got a whole bunch of different Nashville breweries and you can sample their product as part of your fair admission. And at the same time, we've got hippies and cowboys who are going to be singing. So that's going to be really fun. And then we have disco night on Thursday. Cameron Jane is going to be performing. And then Friday night is Andy Griggs. So we've got a really cool lineup. So we really hope that everybody will come out. There's tons to do. We've got butterfly exhibits, creative arts, certainly our animal shows. We've got a lot more animals that have been entered this year as compared to last year. So that's really encouraging. We've got some really amazing high quality livestock that's coming in for shows. And last night we had our giant watermelon weigh off, which is super fun. That's out there too. So anyway, I just encourage everybody to come down because there's really something for everyone. And I hope to see you all there. That's all I have for the fair. I do have an update. Nashville SC was not able to come, but they did present or submit a report that I'd like to go over. And this is for September, of course, 2023. So Geodis Park hosted 4 League Cup matches and 1 regular season match since the last meeting, including the first ever Leagues Cup final against Inter Miami FC. The match was historic as a sellout crowd watched Nashville SC battle Lionel Messi and team. After a 1-1 draw in regular time, the match moved to 11 rounds of penalty kicks, with Inter Miami ending as the winner of the tournament. The club is currently on an international break, but the next home match is Saturday, September 30th against Seattle Sounders. Geodis Park was also home to Carrie Underwood and Guns N' Roses on Saturday, August 26th, as they played in front of a crowd of over 24,000 fans. And I will admit that I was one of those fans, and it was amazing. It was a really cool concert. This past Sunday, the Vanderbilt women's soccer team took on rival Middle Tennessee State University in the first ever women's college soccer event held at Geodis. And as a club update, Nashville SC is currently in 7th place with the MLS Eastern Conference with a regular season record of 11 wins, 7 draws, and 9 losses overall.
Well, I guess there was a couple of things that I think they left off for the report. I would like, and I guess for the record, I guess I would like to thank Nashville Soccer Club for their generous contribution of tickets so that young people can come to the fair. And all MPS students can come to the fair for free. So thank you, Nashville Soccer, for your generosity. But then also I'd like to thank them for stepping forward and trying to help alleviate the transportation problem. I guess I saw on the news that they've figured out a way to do a pilot project for the next few soccer games to have express bus lane bus services, something that I suggested back in January that they said it couldn't be done, but somehow we figured out how to make it happen. So I would like to thank Nashville Soccer Club for hearing our cry when it comes to fixing our transportation problem here at Fairgrounds. So our next order of business will be our executive director's report.
Jasper,
Yes, sir.
did we get parking from that Guns N' Roses and Carrie Underwood concert?
We did. We have a preliminary estimate of about $3,800 from that. It is lower than what we saw for the Shania Twain concert because that was also flea market weekend, so we had much less parking space available for them to use.
All right. Do we have anything to add for your executive director's report?
I don't. It was all going to be about the fair, and I already covered that. So other than thanking staff, I cannot tell you how much energy and time they have put in to cleaning up from the August flea market, going right into setting up. I'm not sure everybody understands the heavy lift that our staff does between flea market and the opening of the fair, moving livestock panels, moving truckloads of mulch, setting up shavings, all the pipe and drape, bringing in all of the creative arts, entries and logging all of that and all the ribbons and awards and judges and booking talent. And it's just, it can go on and on and on. But we do have a good team. I want to absolutely thank the fairgrounds team because there's also a lot of behind the scenes, Christy hiring multitude of people, Satrice doing all the purchasing and managing the money. Certainly the fair staff, Scott Jones, Melissa Borgmeyer, Jamie Anderson, and of course our partners too, which we have one in the back, Katie, thank you. We've got PR people and we've got social media interns and all of the volunteers and department heads, livestock, creative arts, all of those. We could not do it without the people in Tennessee who know that agricultural education, the value of that. So I just wanted to, really thank the entire team, everyone who had a hand in the fair because we could not do it with one less person.
I just had a question for Laura on her report. Laura, I just want to echo what you said. Definitely thank you to the staff. A couple questions on your event update. So really great that we're booked out a lot through 2025. You mentioned at a prior meeting, maybe 1 or 2 meetings ago, that you were kind of looking at a strategy to find, I won't say exactly higher value, but maybe higher ROI events to bring in. So is some of that reflected in some of the bookings that you guys have made over the 2024 and 2025?
I think we're going to get there. Right now, a lot of our business is what we refer to as legacy business. So it's people who have been with us for multiple years, multiple shows. So once we fill in those legacy events, they take up a large part of our calendar. So then we're trying to fill in holes. So I would say yes. But as far as looking at, the revenue that comes in and then our expenses at putting these on, that is a project that we're working on internally. We've made some process changes to be able to better capture the time that we're spending on each of these events. And then I believe since I was out sick for the August meeting, we brought up that we're going to be doing a fee study. And we have retained a firm, a strategic venue strategies, And we've already had a kickoff meeting with Ms. Catherine, and she's going to be doing some of that work for us as far as looking at our overhead and cost accounting and trying to recover some of those overhead costs. So it's something that we're working on. But I think there are going to be some opportunities to bring in different types of events that we've typically had, just because we're getting more looks too. Because if you look at the event venue spaces in Nashville, if they're not tied to a hotel, there's not really many facilities like we have in Nashville.
Thank you. No, that's excellent and definitely a strategy to focus on. And I mean, I think for me, as I've mentioned before, I don't know that we necessarily need to be, this is a community space for, the community to use. And we obviously don't need to have the highest value events from just a strict dollars and cents perspective, but just continuing to drive down that $1.4 million subsidy from the city. And as we're looking at booking those events out several years out, let's continue to look for ways to transform some of those sort of money-losing opportunities to money-winning opportunities.
Yep. So with that, yeah. All right. So before I go to the next item, I would first like to recognize our former chair and current councilwoman, Sherry Weiner. Thank you for being here this afternoon. So next up, capital projects report.
All right, good afternoon, board, staff, and council. It is always great to be in front of you, but it's also really, really, really cool to hear Laura express all the things that are on the slate related to the fair and happening at the fairgrounds this weekend. So it's really good to be able to hear that. I'm going to do my usual. I'll start with the blue document that's in front of you. Again, just highlighting that for the past few months, we've been hovering around 99% complete as it relates to funds specifically for the expo, the multi-purpose and maintenance space, and the prior projects on the campus. We have roughly $145,000 remaining in the contingency allocated there. You'll notice that this month we're like right at that $10,000 line remaining, in the line item for FF&E. And so again, that's been one of the areas we've continued to monitor throughout the project as needs for the facility arise, continuing to look at, the best utilization of the contingency that's there. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. It's kind of hit that low point, but I think again, with the contingency that we have there, the ability to still provide for uses for capital expenses needed for the facility is still there. Outside of that, just wanted to, again, with the multi-purpose space, roughly $75,000 is there to really make sure that campus area serves the purpose and needs of the fairgrounds, but no movement in that area since our last report. If there's no questions about that document, I'll go. Yep, go ahead.
I have just one question, probably for Satrice. When does, this being a capital budget, when does the operating expenses sort of shift to the primary fairgrounds budget? In other words, we're at like 100% or 99% on phase one. Do those ongoing carrying costs at some point transfer over to the fairgrounds operating budget?
I think I may know what you're referring to. So during capital projects, there are certain things like utilities that would be covered by the capital. Those have already been transferred over to our. So really all that was left in this project, we put either in contingency or FF&E, which is furniture, fixtures, and equipment. So for the most part, any operational type of expenses that were being captured in capital have already been transferred over to our operating.
Thank you. Clear. Thank you.
Okay. I'll move on to Fair Park. We have, as you all see on a regular basis, but started to make some pretty good strides in terms of our scope at the Fair Park. We've crossed in terms of the overall percent complete on that project, 25%, so a fourth of the way there. I know it's been one that we've been looking at and wanting to see go for a while. We have roughly $1.3 million worth of construction costs that have been paid to date. I didn't give my little caveat like I normally do, but just letting you know that what we're presenting is roughly 30 to 45 days in arrears based on our review and submission of invoices. What you'll notice as far as the Fair Park Phase 2, design is crossed that 50% mark. Again, design usually is far ahead of the other areas. You'll see that construction is now starting to catch up. It just crossed that 20% mark. Construction will start to really drive the budget. Again, that's the majority of the budget. So while we just cost 25% here, in the months ahead, you'll start to see that clip off at about 5 to 10% a month as we really work to expend the funds related to the Fair Park. And in a completely different state right now, just in design, not a lot of movement in the realm of construction is infrastructure. And so considering the size of that budget as well, we were just at 4%, but we have spent funds on design. Design is ongoing, really engaging our team partners to get that process started.
So just a quick reminder, one of the projects that we're working on, I think more of a priority is our Windgrove entrance so that we can get off of the Nolansville entrance.
Are there any questions? Any other questions?
Just to expand a little bit on what Ed was saying, the infrastructure part 2 projects, if you'll recall, we have an agreement with the mixed use where they're building a portion of Speedway Alley and Fair Plaza, and that's working nicely. They're in for permitting right now in Speedway Alley. After the last race, we'll be taking that space between mixed use and Speedway Alley, mixed use and the grandstands, and starting extensive construction in that area with the hopes of having it substantially complete by the start of racing season next year. The Fair Plaza area will be opening concurrently with the mixed-use opening. So that'll be sometime next summer, late summer, something like that. And also part of the infrastructure part 2 is that whole Windgrove intersection. We're kind of working with NDOT and WEGO on who pays for what, making sure we have coordinated designs. WEGO needs a northbound bus stop. NDOT is going to cover some of the costs for signaling and other things. They're doing the signalization study right now, and that's going on. And so we're comfortable with that progress. Phase 2 of Fair Park, you can see we're getting the greenways finished up near the Windgrove area. And we're also working around the Bransford area. And then we're putting together a package, coordinate that with the infrastructure part 2 improvements to go back and and update this stormwater variance. So that's a high level overview. Any questions? Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Dirk may have something for mixed use.
Oh, Dirk.
Good afternoon, Chair Hendricks, Commissioners. Nice to be with you again this afternoon. So as I reported last month for the mixed-use building on Block C, we're squarely in the middle of what I call busy but boring. where the building looks very similar to what it's looked like in the past couple months, but there's a lot going on the inside. The biggest thing that you'll notice is that our tower crane is gone, which is good news because it was sitting in the way of the swimming pool that we'll have to build over the course of the winter. The building siding, the facade materials are complete now in the courtyard, and they've moved now to the outside of the building, starting to build those on the outside facing walls. All the windows are in the project. The roof is 100% complete. And the hanging of the drywall, which is kind of the most important activity for interior finishes to start, is going from the top to the bottom. So the 6th floor is done. They're now on the 5th floor. They'll be moving to the 4th here over the next few weeks now that the building is 100% dried in. We will start to see balconies being installed on the outside of the building. If you want to see a mock-up of that, we've got one installed next to R.C. Matthews' construction trailer. It looks pretty cool, and those will start to go on the building later this month. The garage will be substantially complete here in a couple months. We're still waiting on an ETA for permanent power, but as soon as that's done, we will be very eager to hand that over for as many campus events as we can to be able to help out with that facility benefiting all the stakeholders here on the campus. And then on a personal note, we're very, very aware that we're in the middle of a fair right now. I think our construction team has been a good neighbor, I hope, and we're getting along very well, just like we did last year. And I'm especially encouraged by the fact that Laura and her team have been so intentional about programming some really fun and engaging things for the neighbors, because we're about to have a lot more neighbors next summer when we open the building for leasing. And I can't think of a cooler spot to be able to take advantage of the things that you have to offer. I can't do a Journey cover band every day for the residents, but the fact that it's here and it's something that you're doing is going to benefit everyone. I think it's going to be super cool next year. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I had one question. It's more of a long-term planning question. Dirk, can you remind me, so the lot we have the fair in right now, when does that construction start there?
Yeah, terrific question, Commissioner Harley. We are in the process of trying to figure out what the next phase of development will be on the campus, because we have 3.4 acres left on Block A, which is directly north of Geodis Park. And then the site that you're referring to, Block B, is 4.3 acres, where most of the activities for the fair are happening now. And so we're actually working with our design team right now to figure out which of those two blocks will happen next. And frankly, you know, the speed with which the capital markets will allow us to go get a project started, because it looks a lot different now than it did even at the beginning of this year with interest rates and everything you've read about. So, you know, we're in that discernment process now, but certainly we are cognizant of the fact that there's a valuable land area that is used for parking and other things, and we'll have, you know, plenty of forward notice when it's time to move forward with one or both of those blocks.
So if plenty of forward notice, no, thank you for that. And I understand you can't pin it down exactly, but it sounds like from what you're saying, we're talking multi-year out?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this entire build-out is probably a 10-year project. By the time it's all said and done, just as long as it takes to season these projects and to construct them. So as an example, we started planning for Block C back in 2018 and started construction in earnest, you know, last summer. And it's about a 30-month build. The other blocks are larger, and so they'll be every bit as much in that time frame.
Well, I'm just thinking for you, Laura, I expect, based on your team and you, that you're going to be successful with the Nashville Fair. It's going to grow, but we need to be thinking ahead about space constraints that are coming down in the future. So obviously, I'm guessing you've already thought about that, but do you have any top line thoughts right now for that?
So we know that we're going to be utilizing the Speedway to help support the fair moving forward. But as you know, I think we're going to be talking about that today, is kind of what that future looks like, because there's going to have to be some investment in the Speedway for that to be a successful transition. So pedestrian access and such. So, you know, the future of the Speedway is going to play into how we transition and then work with Dirk's team to transition it into and utilize the interior of the Speedway.
Thank you. Any other questions? Nope. All right. All right, so next is an old business. We have no old business. And the first item under new business is a consideration of Amendment 2 for the Track Enterprises contract. And that has come about because since our last meeting, I was contacted along with a couple other people in reference to an incident that happened during a race in which racers were allowed to participate in the race without mufflers, which was a violation of the contract that we have with Track Enterprises. And so after a few conversations back and forth between myself and Laura and myself and Terry and myself and Bob and everyone, we have sort of come up to a temporary agreement, something that is just going to hold us until the end of this current contract, because we do have to have a conversation about what's next for the racetrack. And so, and we do have to have that, begin that discussion today. However, we can't complete that discussion. But what we will do today is to take up the amendment. We'd like to hear from Bob, if possible, to address the board in reference to the amendment, and then ask the board members if they have any questions.
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, in reference to the discussion, we had a non-local race series come in that we had never had here before, and they were well notified about our muffler rule, and they showed up, and some of the participants did not have mufflers. That was unbeknownst to us. So in the middle of all the discussion in the race, there was some mufflers, some race cars that raced without mufflers. So we took full responsibility for that, discussed it with Laura and Jasper, and they suggested a amendment, fine for things of that nature. We discussed back and forth. I tried to explain the situation that in all the years we've had this, that we don't allow somebody to race without mufflers. We've had national series come in the past, ARCA, SRX with the big crowd. We forced them to have mufflers. Again, this was a group that we pre-warned and told, and then they didn't oblige by it. So maybe we've learned a lesson too on how to control that better and not let that happen again. We've notified this group they cannot come back. So hopefully we've rectified this situation, and just ask that, answer any questions here today. We feel very confident that, again, our normal racing procedures, this doesn't happen. They all have mufflers. We've worked very closely with Sherry on DB levels and things of that nature, and made a lot of progress. That's one setback that we talked about with Jasper and Laura, is that it hurts us as much as it does the neighbors and what have you, because we worked very hard on getting our cars with the right mufflers on, and feel very comfortable in that position right now.
So yes, okay. And so, and just to let you know, just our thought process in coming up with the penalty is because, just as Bob just explained, it's my thought, and I'm not sure what your thoughts would be, but it was my thoughts is that they should not have been allowed to race at all. If they were aware of what our policies are, and they still chose to show up, to me, it doesn't matter where they came from. They came from California, Texas. I heard that these people came from, they've come from a long way. But if we have rules here on property, it's important for us to follow those rules. And it's unfortunate also that this incident has happened in a time in which we're currently in, debate about the future of the racetrack. And it doesn't come at a good time that this happened, but we also have to say that we have to stick by our rules, and that we're very concerned about the noise in the community, because that's the number one concern that we've heard during our process in trying to figure out what's next for the racetrack. And that's why we sort of negotiated, and we came up with a penalty. And this is just, again, for the next two races. There's only 2 more races. So if a similar occurrence doesn't happen again, then we won't have to worry about the fines. But for the first penalty will be $1,000, and for the second penalty will be a $2,500 fine. Sorry. And it's not a penalty. It is not a penalty. It is a damages because when things like this, and it's important for us to realize that these are damages because when an incident happens like this, it took a lot of staff time. It took a lot of, it took a lot of meetings, and it took and that time that we have to pay our staff, and we have to take their attention away from the fair and from doing other things. And so, as far as like we've come up with a structure that said that our liquidated damages, this is how much it cost us in order to settle a complaint of this magnitude.
Yeah, Jasper. So just to make sure I understand how it works, first offense, so would this be like two cars in the same race or two races where there were not mufflers?
Oh no, that per occurrence. So if it's a car that does not meet the requirements, not in compliance, and it's still allowed to race, that's $1,000 for the first instance.
So how you read this is each car would be an offense, and I agree with you. Just want to make sure, Bob, that's your understanding as well. So if you had two cars, one race, both didn't have mufflers, then that would be strike one and strike two.
Yeah, again, this has not happened in the past. We don't expect to happen in the future, so I'm going to work with the board any way we can to rectify this. This is something that I've fought for years to have very quiet cars out there for the neighborhood. I think we're on the NIAC meeting once a month, and we're very conscious of the neighborhood. So whatever the board wants me to do on this, I'm fine. We'll just have to do our best as we can. We've not had a problem in the past, and I don't anticipate a problem in the future.
Thank you. I just want to make sure I read that correctly, and I'm assuming Metro Legal reads it the same way as well. That's the liquidated
I
damages
do,
and not a
yes.
penalty.
Yes, very much
Thanks.
so.
Which race was this? This is the outlaw race?
Yes, it was a sprint car race. We get the outlaw race got rained on.
Okay. so
One before
sprint
that.
car
It was
race.
they're called sprint cars, which
I'll see
again,
what it is on this list. All right. On July 28th,
yes, sir.
and the $3,000, that amount from you all, or is that amount from the organization is supposed to pay? The $3,000, like this outstanding.
That's for rent.
So that's rent that comes
Yeah.
from Track Enterprises. Then.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And so when they come to have a race here, what do the organizations pay to come here to race?
We pay them. So we've never put in their sanction agreement that they pay us back for not having mufflers on. So we'll have to build that in the contracts.
Okay.
Or we'll take that on ourselves because, again, we pay them. They don't pay us to come here.
Okay.
So that'll be something new that's never been done, to my knowledge, in the whole industry in the United States. So we'll take that on. I think the gist of the board is that I'm responsible for that. So I'll have to, in turn, try to build that into the sanction agreements with the bodies.
And if you were to cancel a race based off of that, how would that affect whatever?
That's why I didn't do it. It's never been done, to my knowledge, in the United States. It would have been very difficult to do, so I don't know the repercussions of that. They could have sued all of us for their travel. We could have told them we warned them. It would have been a court thing, I'm assuming, so I don't know the outcome.
Okay.
It would have been a PR nightmare also. So they all have fans, and people come here and pay to get in. So that's one reason it was new to me to have that. And again, I'm not sure what would have happened if we would have canceled that race.
So then my question is, so when you do a contract, when you enter into a contract with a group, you do ask them to sign that they acknowledge the rules of the facility in which they're going to participate in, right?
Yes, sir. And they were on this case. They being the sanctioning body, so the drivers are personal contracted people that come, and those we don't have communication with, that we'll have to make sure we rely on the sanctioning body to communicate to the teams.
And so maybe it's just a simple clause in your contract to say if they break a rule or if they knowingly break a rule, then you're not held responsible.
Correct.
So I don't understand. Yeah, okay. So
That's what we're going to
clear.
push. That's what we're going to work on, yes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the amendment, if you're ready for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So moved.
Yes, since y'all worked on it over these hours, I second it.
Any discussion? Further discussion?
Anything else, Laura?
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion passes. Thank you. The next item is consideration of an easement and encroachment with Market Street for the placement of utility cabinets and cabling. And this is the map.
Yes. So what you see in your packet is an exhibit. We do not have the legislation drafted yet, and the easement encroachment documentation itself is not drafted. However, I wanted to go over it in concept with you and ask for your support so that we could proceed with both Market Street and Metro Legal to do that so that we can take it to council. This is something that does require 3 readings at Metro Council. And the gist of it is, you'll see on your map where the green and the yellow blocks meet. That is, there are three darker green blocks there. One is a cabinet, essentially, with some underground electric. It kind of looks orange, and it crosses underneath the driveway into the parking structure. That is cabling that connects that cabinet to the other side of the street. And then you'll see 2 other cabinets, which is a transformer and a switch owned by NES. One serves the mixed-use development, and the other one also serves part of the Speedway. So what I am going to ask of you is consideration and approval of supporting an easement with Market Street so that these cabinets and NES, so that these cabinets can be placed outside of their leased footprint to serve both the mixed use and Fair Park Drive or Speedway Alley, whatever we're going to call it. So I don't have any concerns about this. So it's pretty straightforward.
Just to explain a little bit in more legalese detail. So the 3 dark green squares on the green with the C's kind of covered up by the text box, but it's CTS, the cabinet, the transformer, and the switch. All of those would be within the easement area. And since the green is the area that's like a parcel owned by Fairgrounds, Fairgrounds would be granting that easement. I assume we'd need to grant that easement to both Market Street and to NES, so they both have access to their facilities. And then the orange line that goes under the yellow Fair Park Drive or whatever it's going to be called, because that's public right of way. When you have facilities that are within the public right of way, the requirement is an encroachment approved by council. So I'm anticipating that we could do a single piece of legislation approving both the easement and the encroachment, but it would have to wait for council to be back in session. I would just say, I guess we need the legal description on the area of the easement, make sure that there's access from the public right of way and so forth.
Are there any questions? Well, hearing none, I guess the chair would entertain a motion to direct the staff to work with Metro Legal on legislation for approving the easement work.
So moved.
Second.
Yes, I would like that, if we could go ahead and execute it at the same time. My suggestion also, if you're amenable to it, is to allow Jasper or whoever chair is, when it is approved, that we can go ahead and sign and execute it in order to keep things moving. If you would consider that amendment to your motion.
I never need to hear about this topic again, so I'm very comfortable with that. I'm so moved. So I agree with the amendment.
Okay.
I will leave it to the Robert's rules to Jasper.
Second.
All right, so I can see a vote on the amendment. So,
Aye.
Aye.
all right, and I'm an aye. And then so I guess now a full vote on the motion, which is to give the authority of the staff, Fairport staff, Laura, and Metro Legal to work on legislation and filing such legislation with City Council.
And for the chair to sign approvals.
And for the chair to sign approvals to begin the easement work. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And aye. Well, I guess next will be nominations and elections of officers. So we have, positions open for chair and vice chair. Are there any nominations?
I nominate Jasper Hendricks. Chair.
Are there any other nominations? I keep looking at what you were saying earlier. Are there any other nominations? All right. But hearing none, yes, I do accept. Thank you. So all those in favor is Commissioner Owens,
Aye.
Commissioner Hartley,
Aye.
and Commissioner Hendricks, aye. So, all right, next will be our nominations for vice chair.
I'll nominate Mr. Todd Hartley for vice chair.
And I guess I can second the nomination for Commissioner Hartley for vice chair.
I accept the nomination.
Are there any other nominations? All right. Hearing none. Hearing none. So Commissioner Owens, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Hartley.
Aye.
All right. Well, that I think concludes. Yes. So we do need to talk about racing.
Going to kind of go back just a little bit because we were going to talk about it during the amendment, but I thought it might be prudent to have kind of a general conversation about next racing season. Usually we do have this conversation about this time because there are not just NASCAR, but other sanctioning bodies are setting their schedules, and that can influence what races we can bring here to the Speedway for next season. We're at a little bit of a disadvantage, I guess, in so far as, the Bristol deal is not at council yet. And so, we've got to consider that action as it happens, but then also make sure we're securing a local racing season for 2024. So again, we're not going to have a decision on that today, but I just wanted to have kind of a general conversation and kind of hear from you about kind of what your thoughts are of moving forward. There's been conversations certainly about doing an extension of Track Enterprises contract. People have brought up RFP. There's definitely some timing challenges with that because the Bristol proposal is not resolved. And so the quality of respondents to an RFP when it could be for nothing is probably not the wisest decision. But I wanted to open it up and hear your thoughts and kind of provide maybe a little bit of direction moving forward.
I'm for keeping it as is. They're familiar with the location and they've done a good job. So to stop as much disruption as possible, I'm just keeping it as is.
Well, I think during our discussions, there was some concerns that was raised that if the Bristol deal does pass, though, then that contract will be null and void because Bristol will immediately take over control. And so I had a question. My question
I
would
thought when
be
Bristol,
about,
when it was completed, I didn't know it was one step. I thought the speedway had to be completed before they took
they
over.
got to start it. They got to do the work. They have to.
But the track
They start the work. They'll start the work immediately. Everything will start.
But then that's null and void.
As soon as the contract.
We won't have racing at all then if it's construction.
But I think the question is, it still could. But the thing is, like, how can it? And my question would be on if we did some type of extension, that we also included of some type of provision of working with Bristol. Would we then have to still do an RFP, or could so that way we can have seamless transition? Is there a way for something to happen?
Well, and I think you're going to answer on the legal point, but just from a business point of view, I mean, I think you could absolutely make, if we went with Bob's company, we could make that contract subject to the rights of Bristol if that deal became complete. The question of whether he'd want to do it is a separate question that's more in his court, but I think we can do that from a contractual point of view, no problem. But I have another point of view, but I'll let you finish your thought, Jasper.
I just had one thing, is the last 2 years, because I think this whole proposal and process has taken much longer than any of us, I think, ever imagined when we went into it. So the last 2 years, we absolutely contemplated and built into the contract with Bob's full understanding that if Bristol were to happen, it would transition. So we already kind of put that in place. And I know that, there's already a relationship and a working relationship between Track Enterprises and Bristol Motorsports. So as far as that transition, we've already discussed that and built in a termination into this agreement in anticipation of if Bristol gets approved.
Yeah, because it's the thing is like Bob works, gets sponsors, get everything, and then let's say February, Bristol comes through the council and it's like, oh, Bob did all this work for nothing. I don't want that to happen. So I just want to make sure.
I mean, that's we might not want it to happen, but it's something that you might have to plan for. Because if we don't plan for any races, and then Bristol doesn't happen, then we go the whole year without races. So I mean, it's just something we have to just take into account. That if it happens, it happens. And Bob agrees to continue working for trying to get some races for next year. I think we need to do that. And if Bristol happens, we got to cross that bridge to get to it. Because if we don't do anything, then we're going to be avoid of racing for the whole year.
I just wanted to remind myself of some of and Matt, I'm going to ask you, maybe you can answer this question for Bristol, unless anybody else can remember. So, I mean, it goes without saying, I remain non-supportive of the Bristol deal, whether it passes council or not. But
You have to say that every time.
I do have to say that every time in its current form. But what I wanted to remember is, do we have an idea of what the construction timeline would be from when you've got 3 readings and if you got a positive vote in Metro Council to when we would have a functioning speedway again? Like, what is that time period? Is that 18 months? I can't remember how long that construction period is. I just say I'm not supportive, so Matt will have a reason to call me later.
That's right. Matthew Kuhn for Bristol Motor Speedway. It's really up in the air, and it depends on a lot of factors, like when we get approval and what time of year it is. And we've made commitments that we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that we continually hold races and phase the redevelopment accordingly so that we can do that. But it's really, we've been saying 18 months to 24 months. That's what my construction people tell me. So that's kind of what I've been working off of.
A follow-up question for you, Matt. Thank you for that answer. Are you guys amenable to the discussion we just had about offering a contract back to Track Enterprises subject to working with Bristol and you guys sort of absorbing their contract? Is Bristol generally open to that?
I think so. We have a great working relationship with Bob, and we think he does a great job.
So I guess at the next meeting, we'll have a little bit more detail. But actually before the next meeting, you should receive something, to review for us to discuss, at the next meeting. And then speaking of which, since I guess we finished that, if any more conversation around that topic?
I just had one. When we see the deal terms for, I'm assuming we're going to try to negotiate back with Bob, obviously, as that's the discussion just now. I would love to see a comparison of the current year deal terms to what the revised deal terms would be, just side by side. That'd be good to have. So if we can get that with that packet. Thank you, Jess.
All right, no problem. All right. My next thing, I wanted to actually bring it up to you guys and see how you felt about this and see what the schedule was like. Next month's meeting, we may need to move it from the 10th. Was there another date in that week that could work for you guys? Like either.
Preferably later. This is somewhat my fault because I'm going to be on vacation through the 9th. And so if my travel plans to get home change or are delayed, I just want a backup plan for possibly Thursday or Friday of that week.
I'm a no for Thursday and Friday because it's TSU homecoming, so that's not going to work. That's not going to work.
You got to have priorities, my man.
Yeah, that's not going to work. And so, I'm off for, Monday of next week, the 16th or whatever, but yeah, 13th to 14th, 12th and 13th is not going to work for me.
Okay, I can always send a poll out too. Since Diego was unable to attend today, I can send a poll out to the group and you can we'll make sure we have a quorum. Okay.
All right, is there any more business that we need to discuss? Any more business that we need to discuss? All right, well, hearing none, I guess the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Chair Hendricks.
How do you feel, Chair Hendricks, before I second that motion? How do you feel about this appointment or this nomination?
Run out on the field.
Well, so I second it then.
All right, hearing no objection, our Fair Board meeting for September 12th is officially adjourned. Thank you all for attending.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.